My name is Kazuko Engel. I'm 29, and for 14 months, I dated a man named Ethan Cole. We met at a friend's barbecue and bonded over two things: hating IPAs and loving old noir movies. For the first 6 months, everything felt easy. Then, Ethan started asking questions. Who's texting you? Is that a guy from work? Why were you online at 2 in the morning? At first, I thought he was just insecure, so I reassured him. I showed him messages when he asked, introduced him to male coworkers. Eventually, I caught myself announcing every notification before he could question it. That's Tommy. That's my sister. Work chat. Nothing helped. The more access I gave him, the more Ethan seemed to need. Last Thursday, we were at my apartment watching Netflix when my phone buzzed on the coffee table. I ignored it. Ethan didn't. Aren't you going to check that? It can wait. 20 minutes later, he paused the show. Kazuko, I need your phone password. I stared at him. No. If you've got nothing to hide, why does it matter? Because I'm allowed privacy. Privacy is just another word for secrets. No, I have work emails, banking apps, private conversations. His face hardened. So you are hiding something. I'm setting a boundary. Ethan stood and grabbed his jacket. Fine, give me your password right now, or we're done. He looked completely certain I'd surrender. If you loved me, he added, you'd prove it. I watched him for a second, then something in me became very calm. Okay. His shoulders relaxed. Thank God. We're done then. His smile vanished. What? You gave me two choices. I chose one. Kazuko, stop. I'm serious. You're ending 14 months over a password? You're the one who made the password worth 14 months. He laughed. You're bluffing. No. Then came everything at once. Tears. Anger. Bargaining. Guilt. After everything I've done for you? I kept repeating the same thing. You made the ultimatum. At the door, Ethan turned around. You'll call me tomorrow. I said nothing. And when you do, I want the password and location sharing. Good night, Ethan. He slammed the door. I blocked his number immediately. Then, his social media. Clean break. I thought that was it. I was wrong. By Saturday, mutual friends started calling. Tommy was first. Ethan says you dumped him because he asked for basic transparency. He demanded my password or said we were done. Silence. Oh. Yeah. Apparently Ethan had forgotten to mention that part. Then his sister Rebecca called. Then his best friend. Then 3 other people. Everyone repeated the same message. Ethan was sorry. I had misunderstood. We had something special. My answer never changed. He gave me an ultimatum. I accepted it. Sunday morning, Rebecca showed up outside my apartment carrying a box. I spoke through the door. Leave my stuff outside. He wants to come get his things himself. No. Kazuko, he just wants 5 minutes. We have nothing to discuss. He didn't mean the ultimatum. Yes, he did, Rebecca sighed. You're being immature. No, I'm respecting his decision. I boxed Ethan's clothes, toiletries, books, watch, and the expensive coffee maker only he used. Monday morning, I left everything outside with a note. Everything is here. Please don't contact me again. At 9, my security camera sent an alert. Rebecca was collecting the boxes. Ethan was sitting inside her car. He never got out. He just stared toward my apartment door. Waiting. Maybe he still believed I'd eventually come outside. Maybe he thought the breakup wasn't real unless he agreed to it too. I closed the security app. For the second time, I thought it was finally over. It wasn't. Ethan was only getting started. A week later, Ethan found new ways around the block. Tuesday morning, an unknown number called. Is this Kazuko? Yes. This is Dr. Patricia Camp. I'm Ethan's therapist. I actually laughed. His therapist? Ethan is extremely distressed about the breakup. He feels you haven't allowed him to explain. Stop. Whether you're really his therapist or not, Contacting me like this is inappropriate. Don't call again. I hung up. Wednesday, Ethan's mother emailed my work address. She explained his trust issues, his fear of abandonment, and why I should be the bigger person. Her final line said, "A real woman doesn't abandon a man she loves over one small misunderstanding." I forwarded the email to HR for documentation. Friday afternoon, reception called. "Kazuko, there's a delivery for you." Downstairs stood a kid in a tuxedo. A singing telegram. In front of my coworkers, he performed a painfully customized breakup song about passwords, trust, and second chances. People were filming. I let him finish because none of this was his fault, tipped him $20, and took the card. I was wrong. Let's start over. Ethan. My coworker Jerome stared at me. He seriously sent a singing telegram? Apparently blocking him wasn't clear enough. But Saturday was worse. Around 10, I returned from the gym and saw Ethan outside my apartment building. He wasn't alone. Rebecca and several friends stood beside him holding signs. Love means forgiveness. Second chances matter. Ethan held flowers. "Kazuko, please, 5 minutes." I kept walking. His group followed. "He's really sorry," Rebecca said. Ethan stepped in front of me. "I don't need your password anymore. Too late. I just wanted to feel secure. And I wanted my boundaries respected." His expression tightened. "You blocked me. How was I supposed to apologize?" "You weren't. That was the point." I reached the entrance. "This is harassment. Leave or I'm calling the police." "You wouldn't." "Try me." That finally stopped him. They remained outside for nearly an hour before leaving. The next day, my mother called. "Kazuko, someone named Ethan contacted me." My stomach dropped. "He's my ex. Please block him." "He said you broke up because he asked for your password." "He demanded it or said we were done." My mother paused, then said, "Good. You chose correctly." Ethan also contacted my sister, old friends, and relatives he barely knew. Nobody convinced me to respond. 2 weeks after the breakup, I found a handwritten letter outside my door. 5 pages. Ethan explained his childhood trauma, his fear of betrayal, everything he'd supposedly sacrificed for me. He promised he was starting therapy. He also said he'd wait as long as necessary for me to come to my senses. I put the letter into a folder. Documentation. Friday night at 11, someone started pounding on my door. "Kazuko!" "Ethan." His voice was slurred. I started recording. "I'm sorry, okay? I just wanted to know you weren't cheating." I stayed silent. Then his apology became anger. "I didn't even want your stupid password. I was testing you." There it was. A test. Then he threatened to post photos from our Vegas trip. The photos were completely harmless, but apparently he thought they gave him leverage. My neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, opened her door. "Young man, it's 11 at night. Leave. Mind your business." "Wrong person, Mrs." Patterson was a retired teacher who tolerated absolutely nothing. "I'm calling 911. Ethan disappeared before she finished the sentence. The next morning, I filed a police report. The officer told me to keep documenting everything and consider a restraining order if Ethan continued. I hoped that would be unnecessary. Then Sunday happened. I was doing laundry in the basement when footsteps came down the stairs. I turned. Ethan. He'd apparently followed another resident inside. "We need to talk." "No, you need to leave." "Just tell me why." "Why? What? Why was your privacy more important than us?" I stared at him. "It wasn't. Your need to control me became more important to you than trusting me." "I wanted to feel safe." "By violating my boundaries?" His eyes filled with tears. This time they looked real. "My friends think I'm obsessed. My family is tired of hearing about you. My therapist says I have attachment issues." I said nothing. Then Ethan whispered, "I didn't think you'd actually choose breaking up." And suddenly, everything made sense. You thought the ultimatum would scare me into obeying. He looked away. After a long silence, he said something I hadn't expected. I don't even know what I thought I'd find on your phone. Then why did you need the password? His voice dropped. I just wanted to know you'd give it to me. There it was. Not cheating, not security, control. And I wanted to know you'd trust me enough not to need it, I said. Ethan looked at me for several seconds. Then he walked upstairs without another word. For the first time since the breakup, he didn't threaten to come back. And for the first time, I wondered if he finally understood why I'd left. After the laundry room confrontation, Ethan finally went quiet. No unknown numbers, no surprise visits, no relatives calling on his behalf. For almost a month I heard nothing. At first, the silence made me suspicious. Every security notification made me check my phone twice. Every unfamiliar car outside my building made me wonder if Ethan had found another excuse to show up. Then slowly, my life became normal again. I stopped checking the peephole before leaving. The documentation folder stayed unopened. I even finished the show Ethan and I had been watching together. Turns out television works perfectly well after a breakup. Then, LinkedIn notified me. Ethan Cole viewed your profile. I stared at the notification. Of all places, LinkedIn. I ignored it. 10 minutes later, another notification appeared. Ethan had endorsed me for Microsoft Excel and team leadership. I barely used Excel. Then came a message. Hi, Kazuko. I wanted to reach out professionally to apologize for my unprofessional behavior during our personal relationship transition. I've been reflecting on my actions and realize I violated appropriate boundaries. I'm currently working with a therapist on my attachment and trust issues. I don't expect a response, but I wanted you to know I'm taking accountability. Best wishes in your future endeavors. I read it twice. Personal relationship transition. Future endeavors. He had turned our breakup into a corporate memo. Part of me wanted to ask whether he'd run it through HR before sending it. Instead, I screenshot it and added it to the folder. Then I blocked him there too. A week later, I ran into Tommy at a bar. He gave me that expression people use when they know something they probably shouldn't tell you. What? Ethan's dating someone. I took another sip of my drink. Good for him. Tommy hesitated. There's more. Of course there is. They met on a dating app. Apparently, he made her share her location on their first date. I laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was so predictable. And she agreed? Apparently. Tommy leaned closer. He has all her passwords, too. That stopped me. How long have they been together? 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Ethan had somehow compressed 14 months of boundary erosion into less than a month. So nothing changed. Tommy shrugged. He posts about her constantly. Calls her his perfect woman. Says their relationship is built on trust and transparency. I shook my head. Therapy had apparently given Ethan better vocabulary. It hadn't changed the behavior underneath. Does he still ask about me? Tommy gave me an apologetic look. Sometimes. What does he ask? Whether you're dating anyone, and? I tell him it's none of his business. I smiled. Good man. I thought that would be the last time Ethan entered my life. Then yesterday happened. I was working on my laptop at a coffee shop when the door opened. Ethan walked in. Beside him was a woman who looked a few years younger than us. Maya, I assumed. He saw me immediately. His entire body went rigid. I looked back at my laptop. I had no interest in making the moment dramatic. Apparently Ethan did. He whispered something to Maya. She looked at me. Then back at him. Then she walked directly toward my table. You're Kazuko? I closed my laptop halfway. Yes. I'm Maya. Okay. Ethan's girlfriend. I figured. She folded her arms. He told me about you. I glanced at Ethan. He stayed near the counter, watching. What exactly did he tell you? That you were controlling. That almost made me laugh. Maya continued. He said you wouldn't let him have access to anything in your life, that you were secretive and probably cheating. I looked at her carefully. Did he tell you why we broke up? He said you had trust issues. No. Ethan demanded my phone password and told me that if I refused, our relationship was over. Her expression shifted. He didn't say that. I assumed not. He said you wouldn't share anything. I shared plenty. What I wouldn't give him was unrestricted access to my phone. Maya glanced over her shoulder. Ethan looked away. I could have stopped there. Maybe I should have. Instead, I remembered Ethan outside my apartment with signs. His mother emailing my workplace, the drunken pounding on my door, the police station, so I opened the folder on my phone. I kept documentation. Maya leaned closer. I showed her the email, the messages from his family, the singing telegram card, security footage from outside my building, the handwritten letter, the police report. Then I played a few seconds of the recording from the night Ethan showed up drunk. His own voice came through my phone. I didn't even want your stupid password. I was testing you. Maya's face went pale. I stopped the recording. All because I wouldn't give him a 4-digit code. She looked toward Ethan again, then quietly said, He has all my passwords. I didn't respond. He told me that's normal. That's your decision. He said couples who trust each other don't need privacy. That sentence sounded painfully familiar. I looked at her. Privacy and secrecy aren't the same thing. Maya's arms slowly unfolded. He asked for my location on our first date. I heard. Her eyes narrowed. He told you? Mutual friends. For the first time, she looked embarrassed. I didn't want that. She wasn't the person who had harassed me. So I closed the folder. I'm not telling you to leave him. I'm not telling you what kind of relationship to have. I'm only telling you what happened to me. Maya nodded slowly. Behind her, Ethan finally approached. Maya, can we go? She turned. You said she was lying to you. Kazuko always twists things. I held up my phone. Your voice is literally on the recording. His jaw tightened. For a second, I saw the old Ethan again. The one who believed enough pressure could force reality into the shape he wanted. Then, he noticed Maya staring at him. His expression softened instantly. It's complicated. Maya looked at him. No, you made it sound pretty simple. I stood and put my laptop into my bag. Ethan looked at me. You didn't have to show her all that. You brought her to my table. I didn't. You told her enough about me that she walked over. He had no answer. I slung my bag over my shoulder. Good luck, Maya. As I reached the door, I heard her behind me. Ethan. Silence. Then, we need to talk. I kept walking. I didn't turn around. Maybe they stayed together. Maybe they broke up that afternoon. I genuinely don't know. And for once, I didn't feel curious enough to find out. That was probably the biggest sign I'd finally moved on. A few weeks later, I started seeing someone new. Nothing serious yet. He's calm, funny, and remarkably uninterested in monitoring whether I'm online at 2 a.m. Yesterday, he couldn't find his phone. Can I use yours to call mine? I handed it over without thinking. He paused. You're just giving me your unlocked phone? Yes. You're not worried I'll snoop? No. He smiled. Why? Because if you did, you'd be telling me exactly who you are. He considered that. Fair enough. He called his number. We heard nothing. Then he remembered leaving it in his car. He handed my phone back. No scrolling. No question. No test. No request for my password afterward. Nothing happened. And strangely, that nothing meant everything. For months with Ethan, I'd been trained to believe trust required constant proof. Explain the notification. Explain the coworker. Explain why I was awake. Show the message. Hand over the phone. Prove it again tomorrow. But real trust wasn't louder. It was quieter. It was handing someone your phone for 30 seconds and never wondering whether they'd search through it. It was knowing they could respect a boundary without treating that boundary as evidence of betrayal. Ethan thought privacy meant I had something to hide. What he never understood was that privacy meant I had something that belonged to me. There's a difference. And when he said, "Give me your password or we're done," he expected fear. He expected negotiation. He expected me to prove my love by surrendering. Instead, I believed him. I chose done. 14 months disappeared because Ethan gambled our relationship on an ultimatum he never expected me to accept. He thought I'd choose him. I chose myself. And I've never regretted the password he never got.